Okay, it looks like it's just about that time. It is 7 o'clock p.m., which means it is time to start PA DECA's first episode of the hashtag Evolve Competition Prep series. Um, to start things out, once everyone is ready, once I get the thumbs up from everyone, if they're ready, just okay. So we're going to go directly into the presentation. So there we go. All right. Here we go. So welcome to PA DECA's Evolve Competition Prep Series. Tonight we'll be presenting our inaugural episode, Ignite. Ignite's purpose is to ignite your passion for DECA and help you find out how you can be successful with the help of PA DECA's Evolve Competition Prep Series. So let's get right into it. Welcome to Evolve. Evolve is the future of success in PA DECA. Those who want to make an appearance on stage at the PA State Career Development Conference will be sure to tune into our multifaceted technological competition prep experience and own their future. So to start out, I'm going to have our VP of Outreach, or not outreach, or VP Trayvon talk about prep with the best.
Okay, guys, so it's nice to meet you all. My name is Trayvon Bradshaw, and I'm your Pennsylvania DECA Vice President of Communications. So like Max said, I'm going to help you guys prep with the best. I'm going to just go over a few of our topics for the rest of our hangouts leading up to states. So first, you guys are tuned in to Ignite. This is our introductory video to kind of set the whole tone for the hashtag Evolve Competition Prep series. We really want to help you guys achieve your goals this year and reach the stage at your district, state, and even international conferences this year. Following Ignite, we are going to do Bright. So Bright is focused on planning out your written events. And as you guys probably know, if you've done a written event, it can be a very long and drawn out process, and there's a lot that goes into it. Okay, we don't only want to go over the written part with you guys, but we want to help you with the performance part and everything that goes into being successful within your written events. I'm going to do Pursue. So Pursue is all on test taking strategies. So one thing I can tell you about myself is I'm always good with the performance part in competition, but I haven't always been good at the test taking part. And it's important as a competitor to be well-rounded and to know how to do both sides of the whole competition so you can reach the stage. Following Pursue, we have Soar and Compose, okay? So Soar is devoted to helping you guys excel in your individual competitions, and Compose is devoted to helping you guys excel in your team events and role plays. So I think it's very important to know the difference between both and know both sides. Of course, the obvious is individual, you're by yourself, team, you're with a partner. So it's very important not only who you pick for your partner, but knowing that you guys are going to put the same amount of work into this, knowing that you guys bounce off each other nicely. So when one stops talking, the other can pick it up and just continue a nice even flow between the both of you. And after Compose, we have Shine. So this is going to be our last one leading up to states. And it's just going to be helping you prepare for states, kind of going over some general things that are going to be going on during the state conference, as well as maybe some timing for when you guys will be taking your test and just some tips for before your role plays, okay? And then last, we have Achieve. So this is going to be after our state conference, and we want to help you guys reach the stage at ICDC and beyond and help you own your futures. Sorry, guys, had to say it.
Right.
Anyways.
So thanks for that, Trayvon. Next, we're going to talk about some of the event analysis opportunities we're going to have with the hashtag Evolve series. So I'm going to let Trayvon talk some more about that. But yeah.
All right, guys. So next, of course, is event analysis. So I want to give you a few tips generally for competition, and then just some tips for role plays in your team and individual events. So first, I'm just going to go over some general things, okay? So when you're with your proctor, whoever is bringing you to your actual judge, it's good to know who your judge is. So if your proctor would let you know that, that would be a good advantage, competitive advantage that you could have. And let me tell you why. Now, let's say you're a first year member and you're nervous and you could see it in your face and you're like, okay, now I have to prepare this role play and write it all out, right? It's good to know where your judge is, so then you could put your back facing them. And you're probably asking, why have your back facing them? Well, then they can't see your facial expressions. They can't see that you're nervous, and you still have time to gain that composure and that confidence before you actually go over to your judge and present. Because one thing I can tell you is that the first impression really matters. The tone you set and how you project your voice when you go over to them is going to set the tone for the rest of the role play. So then after you are done preparing whatever you have to prepare for your role play, your judge will obviously walk you over. It's good to have a firm handshake, look them in the eye, smile, and again, just project your voice, confidence, back straight up, and just have a nice introduction. Introduce yourself. So I'll give you guys an example. So I'll be like, hello, it's very nice to meet you. My name is Trayvon Bradshaw. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to meet with you and discuss some ideas in which I believe will make our business more profitable. Do you mind if I take a seat? Simple as that. You know, that's a great way to start it. And then you could just go right into your role plays or into your KPIs. Following that, I want to talk about our mock role play footage. So actually, your state officer team, this Friday, we are heading out to Hershey to plan your state conference, okay? So we're going to be going over everything into what we're doing for the state conference. So I'm not going to tell you guys anything too good today, but we're going to have some really exciting stuff for you guys planned. And we want to actually record a video for you guys on how to do an effective role play. And we're going to do some video analysis to break down the role play specifically, everything that goes into it. So we're just going to break down those parts for you guys and have that video footage available. So that is all for event analysis. Back to you, Max.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Next, we're going to move on to our testing program with hashtag Evolve. And we're going to have Lindsay Lambert talk about that. If you want to take that, Lindsay.
Hi, guys. My name is Lindsay. I'm your District 7 representative. I'm going to go over testing. We think that testing is very important in DECA, as most events actually require a test. Some important test-taking strategies include preparing by using different sources. For example, Competition University, looking at old tests and going through them, as well as working on Vocab. Business vocab is very important because most of the time on a DECA test, if you are unsure of the answer, you can break down the question using your understanding of the vocab. We will include a slide of business vocab in all of our Evolve Hangouts. We also plan on incorporating guest speakers into the Hangouts. For example, we will have a guest speaker during our Hangout when we go over the test prep, so you all can hear about how he does so well and scores so high on his tests. We will also be providing review games during some of our Hangouts to provide interactive stream games that will be fun and useful.
Lindsay, okay, thanks, Lindsay. So next, we're going to talk a little bit about prepping for written events, and all of our information we'll provide on that. So again, we'll have Lindsay talk about that. Feel free to take it, Lindsay.
So written events can be stressful, especially if you're doing a 30-page paper. When writing your executive summary, it is important to put lots of work into it because that is what sets the tone of what you are writing about. It is important to put all that you have into your written events, as the judges will see that. Personally, I think that the presentation is the best part because you get to explain and talk about what you just created. It is important to go in prepared and know what you're going to say. I find it useful to have flashcards so that if I forget what I'm about to say, I can quickly look down at the flashcard and pick up. You should be sure to look engaged and interested during your entire presentation, and it's important to give a good first impression to the judge. As far as materials go, it is important for you to look online at the guidelines to be sure that what you're bringing in is allowed. Different written events will only allow you to bring certain size poster boards or a certain amount of poster boards, and you also have to figure out if they are going to provide you with internet or source of power, or if they give you time to set up. So I hope all of these tips helped for your written events.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. We'll definitely go more in depth in our seminar episode specifically about written events, and we'll definitely have some experts here to talk about that. So next we have our business vocab word of the week. You'll get excited for this every week. So we're gonna have Trayvon talk about our business vocab word of the week, and yeah, take it away, Trayvon.
All right, guys. So like Max said, we're going to have a business vocab of the week, and vocabulary is actually very important within your role plays. It's always nice to have that industry jargon to kind of have something that sets you apart from the competition. And your objective should be to stand out from everyone, right? You want to not just be fourth or third or second place. You want to excel and you want to be first place. And this is one of those things that can help you to go higher and get some more points on your role play. So this week's business vocab word is elastic demand. So just to go over elastic demand, it is the measure of a relationship between a change in the quantity demanded of a particular good and the change in its price. Okay, so this is great for, again, your role play application, just a way to blow away your judges and be like, wow, this kid is amazing. They're well prepared. They're very knowledgeable, and just gets you some extra points that can help you to put you over your competition and get you on that stage. So that is all for our business vocab of the week. Thank you, Max.
All right. So moving on into our question and answer section, the closing of our presentation. We are going to open it up and kind of have a free form. If you have any questions that you want answered about DECA or role plays or anything, we will be online for the next little bit. Just feel free to send them through the chat. We're aware of the delay, so we will be online long enough for your questions to show up. And if you don't feel like commenting on the live stream or watching it after the fact, feel free to tweet us at any of our Twitters. We'll respond in a timely manner. And yeah, so we have some questions that were shared with us before the live stream began from some of our die-hard Pennsylvania DECA members. So I'm going to go off and ask a couple of the questions. So our first question is, what time will the next episode air? Trayvon, you want to take that one?
Okay, guys. So all of our hangouts for the Evolve series are going to be at 7 p.m. Okay. Now we had one today, and now that we're getting into Christmas time, we're going to take a little break. You know, you guys have to see your family, get under the fire, get all warm, get those presents, the hot cocoa, lay out, I don't know, some cookies for Santa. I don't know what you guys do. I know I love cookies on Christmas. Anyways, we're going to pick up right after when the break ends. So January 3rd will be our next one. I believe that is a Tuesday. So again, we're going to pick up at 7 p.m. and we're going to go over how to plan out your written event in detail. So that is the answer to that question.
All right, that is great. So moving on to our next question. Just a second, let me check here, make sure it's there. All right, so the next question. So we got another question from one of our DECA members, and they're asking, what is the best way to prep for a test? So, Lindsay, do you want to take that? I'll take it. I'll answer it. So, prepping for a DECA test can seem like a daunting task before you do it, but in reality, it's one of the easiest parts of the DECA experience. There is a plethora of online content that you can use when studying to improve your business knowledge so you can succeed on the day of competition. There is a practice test for every single event online, and you can download those, practice them in a test-like situation, and check them with the key and see how you do so you can prep for your competitions. Also, there's different sources such as Competition University or the DECA Compete app, which is a DECA Inc. official app that you can download and purchase different tests for only $1.99. So there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to prepping for your tests. And so I guess my advice for you is don't be stagnant when prepping for tests. Go and search online and find as much information as you can and make the best out of whatever you can find, because I guarantee you'll be successful with that.
Okay. And Max, if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like to add one thing onto that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, guys. So when you're actually doing your test and you're done with it, I think it's very important to actually go over and review it, because you want to know what specific questions you had struggled with and which instructional area it came from. So let's say you really struggled with promotion. Okay, then you go back, you study promotion intensively, and then next time you take the test, you get those questions. And it's very important because every test has a certain amount of questions from each instructional area. So you want to know a wide variety of them. I know for districts, they had a blueprint that they gave out to everyone so they could see how many questions were in each district test. But when you get to the state and international level, they don't do that. So you have to study a broad amount of topics. So just making sure to stay on top of those things and just overall strengthen your weaknesses are definitely a thing you want to do when prepping for that test.
Okay, so moving on to our next question, priorly submitted. We're gonna do how do I make sure my judge remembers me? So this is a very important question, because a lot of people, when they're doing a role play for the first time, really don't know what to do. So Trayvon or Lindsay, who wants to take this?
I will take it.
All right, cool.
All right, guys. So I kind of already said this first tip before, but I will say it again because it is very important. It goes right with our introduction, okay? You have to shake the judge's hand, stand up nice and tall, and then, of course, have that prize smile, not only in the beginning, but throughout your role play. This just shows that you're engaged, you're passionate about what you're speaking about, and that you just overall care and know what you're talking about, okay? It's just another nonverbal cue that helps to give you the edge in competition. So I'm going to next talk about another nonverbal cue that is very good. So at the end of every role play, typically a judge will ask you a series of questions. I don't know, however many. It really varies on the role play. But when the judge asks you your question and they're getting near the end of it, it's always good to lean forward. And this shows that you heard what they had to say and you're prepared to answer their question. You're confident about it. You know what you're talking about. So that's just like another thing that they look at and they're like, wow, okay, they're listening to me. They're engaged in this. Let's go on to the next part. And again, that's just one of those things that could help you get some more points. And then finally, this is one thing that you could do during your preparation period when you're writing up your role play is just write out a business card, okay? Now, I actually messed up with this in one of my old role plays at the state conference. Definitely not a proud moment, but I had given them an actual physical business card, and that's something you don't want to do. You're not allowed to bring any physical materials into the role play, so make sure if you are going to give that business card, write it up and just put your contact information, your name, everything, because at the end of your role play, when you're closing out, you want to make a call to action. See, up to this point, you guys have been proposing ideas. You guys have been talking about whatever was in the role play, and then you have to seal the deal. So let's say you had to give some ideas on promotion for a specific event, and your manager or your CEO, president, whatever it is, asks you for those ideas, and then you're closing it out. You'd say, thank you for your time. I had a great time presenting these ideas, and I hope we can meet the next week to speak about specific implementation of my ideas in which I believe will make our company that much more profitable. So that's just a quick example of exactly what I mean. And then that's when you would give them the business card and you'd shake their hand one more time. Of course, you had the smile on, the bright smile, and then you'd walk out your role play. And that's just a great way to close it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just walk out of there looking all cool, feeling great about yourself. So our final question that was pre-submitted before we get into one of the questions that we got in the chat is how do I do a proper introduction for a role play? We didn't ask that one, right? Correct? Someone answer. All right, cool. So Lindsay, do you want to take that one? Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah. Okay,
right.
so I personally think that the best way to start going into your role play is to make sure you know exactly what your position is, whether you're CEO of the company or just an employee or even a customer. It's important to know exactly what you are so then you can go in, introduce yourself, shake their hand, thank them for their time, and then sit down and get right into it. Get going and saying, as you know, usually when I start my role plays, I will start and say, as you know, I am so-and-so of whatever company, just so then they kind of get it kind of starts into the role play and it gets them to know who you are. So I think that's the best way to go into a role play.
Absolutely, I agree. That is a great strategy. So now, now that we've had our pre-submitted questions, we're going to get to the two chat-submitted questions. So the first one coming from Galatian 15 says, I'm doing a principals event, and I'm really nervous, and I don't know what to expect. As experts in DECA, do you have any advice for me to help me figure out what to expect? So do we want to just tag team this? Everyone turn off the mute and just answer it as a group? Just kind of talk about it?
Sounds good.
So the first thing I would say about this to our lovely friend Galatian 15 is that it's important to remain calm and not be worried about your role play. Whatever happens, happens, and you'll be perfectly fine. I'm 100% sure of that. In fact, the fact that you're asking a question right now shows that you care enough to be preparing, and I'm sure you'll do fantastic. As far as what to expect, I'm going to let my partners kind of talk about what to expect in a principals event. Have either of you competed in a principals event?
I have not, but I do have people. I do have people in my chapter who have.
I can talk about that because I competed in a principals event my freshman year. So just a second, let me stop screen sharing so I can get my face in this video. Wait. Okay. All right, there's my face. Can you see my face? I don't know. All that matters is my face is there now. Okay, so when I was a freshman, I was very nervous about DECA. I didn't know what to expect, and my sister, who was vice president of my chapter, forced me to sign up and do an event. So I signed up for a principals event because I didn't think I was very capable. And in my experience, a principals event is just like a really healthy experience. Typically, it's a job interview experience. You walk in and you do what you would do in a job interview. So, for example, if you were doing a Principles of Finance event on, next Friday at the District 4-5 competition, I would suggest that you, well, first you wear your business attire. You walk in, shake the judge's hand, ask if you can have a seat, and then just address the performance indicators. There will be 4 performance indicators on your prompt, and as you go through them, just find your different performance indicators, create a presentation on paper, and just be ready to address all of them and just talk about anything the judge brings up. And generally, anything that you think can happen will, but there's nothing to be afraid of because there's nothing to lose. And so I encourage you to just give it your all and try as hard as you can and just see what happens. It'll be interesting. Do you have anything to add, guys?
I do have something to add. I'm not sure if you have Competition University, but I've had it for ever since I've been in DECA. So my advisor buys it every year, and the whole product bundle thing
I
for
know
our
my
entire
chapter
chapter.
does not have competition university, but I don't know.
Yes. But it has specific tips and like how like an actual process and how you should do each KPI. So first it says to make a defining remark. So let's say it says define the nature and scope of promotion. First you'd kind of go into what promotion is, and then the next step would to be add some examples, okay? So you would give specific examples of promotion, whether it's advertising through billboards or doing like banner ads on the internet, something like that. And then after that, you would relate it to the story that you get. So in a principal's event, of course, you get a story that you have to kind of go over. It gives you your role, what your judge's role is, and kind of what question ultimately you have to ask. So throughout each KPI is good to kind of say, okay, and this is how it relates to what we're doing in our company. And then finally, just spice it up, be yourself, add your personality into it, because I feel like a lot of competitors, especially when they're new, they feel like I have to act serious, I have to act that kind of monotone and just direct and everything. But it's okay to be funny, to add some jokes into there, to be yourself, however you are. If you're a serious person, be a serious person. If you're a humorous person, you like to add some corny jokes in there, go right ahead. I think that's definitely a good thing. And when you're yourself, you definitely are less nervous throughout the entire process. And in your principal's event, I know you'll do fine. I know I did an individual series event my first year, and I did pretty well myself. So I'm sure you will do well as well.
Yeah, and what Max said, don't get yourself all worked up and all nervous. I know my freshman year when I was doing a role play, I was super nervous before I went in. I was freaking out, but I wrote down everything that I needed to do, all the performance indicators, so I was prepared. And I went in and I shook the guy's hand, I sat down, I started into my role play, and then all of a sudden I just like blanked. And I think it was because I was so nervous and I just forgot everything that was in my head. So I had to look down at my paper and kind of like regroup. So it's important to go in thinking that you're going to do okay and not be so stressed out or worried, because I think that's when you actually hurt yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, just don't worry about it too much. Study when you can, and just make the most out of your DECA experience, no matter how short or how long it is, because you're going to learn something, and that's the key takeaway. So we have more questions that I am going to look at. So we've got a question from Iris Lee, and she was asking, when prepping for a role play, do you prepare near the judge or in a separate room? And I can go ahead and address that one because I believe she is in my chapter. I believe she's a state high kid, and I'm proud of her for showing up. She's the best. So the answer to your question is, it depends on the event. For you specifically, for the District 4-5 competition, you will not stand in front of your judge when you're preparing. You will be in a separate room. And so Trayvon's advice, although very applicable in situations where you do prepare in front of the judge, doesn't apply to our regional competition. So you don't have to worry about that. You'll be in a separate room, and there will be a teacher administering the role play, and you'll just get time to fill that out and go in and ask questions or go in and present your role play. And if you have any other questions regarding our specific regional conference next Friday, feel free to shoot me an email or just ask me if you see me in school. I'm approachable, so just ask me anything question-wise. Do you want to add anything to that? Or, I mean, pretty good.
I think you pretty much got it, Max. And
Yeah.
since she's from your district, it makes sense. Actually, the reason I said what I said was at my district competition, what happens is they bring you to a table, and it's a complete open room. So there's like usually judges at tables surrounding the perimeter, right? And you'll be put in a table sort of in the middle or on the outskirts. So usually they'll put you at the table that's close to your judge. so they could point them out to you if need be. But in this situation, Max got it with the whole 4 or 5. You're in your own room. You could relax type thing.
Yep. All right. So moving on to the last user submitted question. This is more of just like an existential question. It's just something that's more fun, and I appreciate the person submitting it. Kind of makes the Evolve series kind of feel like a family. Kind of just like get us to all relax and kind of talk and get to know each other. So the question is, what is something that you would have done different if you could have in DECA? So Trayvon, if you want to answer that first, and then Lindsay, and then I'll take it last, and then we'll wrap things up.
Okay, so I'll start. Honestly, this is a very easy question for me, to be honest. I've always been the kid to go after these leadership things. Now, when I first joined DECA, I was super shy, and that was the first year I started to become a leader. So I started locally at my chapter and went from there. But one thing I never put as much focus on within DECA was the competitive part. And I definitely, I regret that. I think if I had practiced a lot more when I was in my sophomore year, I would have been a lot farther and would have achieved greater awards at these conferences, probably got up on the stage more as well. If I had practiced more for my competition and learned some different productivity and time management skills that I know now. So that's pretty much it for me.
All right. Lindsay, you want to go next?
I think for me, actually where I am right now in DECA and what I'm doing in DECA, I wouldn't change a thing. But with my competitive events, especially the ones that I did sophomore and freshman year, I wish I could change. I wish the event that I did last year, I could have changed. I think the event that I just did it because I didn't know which other events to do. Whereas the event I'm doing this year, I chose it because it really stood out to me and I got excited about it. And I really looked at how I could excel in it and really looked at how I could do well in it, because I really do want to go and compete at ICDC and be on stage at states. So I think what I would have changed is the events that I competed in and how prepared I was for them.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. I mean, I think when it comes to answering this question, everyone really has their regrets. So I am very happy and very content with where I am in my DECA career, my trajectory and everything I'm doing. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm really proud of how I've done. But if I could change one thing, it would be that I studied more. So my freshman year, I made it to nationals and I got to compete at the national level, and that was fantastic. But then I kind of let it go to my head, and that was a problem. And so if I had studied more last year, I would have placed at states again, and I would have gotten again to succeed in the way I did previously. But luckily, I can attribute my success my freshman year to the reason that I am a state officer now. It gave me the confidence to get where I am. And really, I think one of the key aspects of DECA is how straightforward it is and how much there's so much constant progression. And so I think the key to success in DECA is not having regrets and not having time to have regrets. And so if you keep swimming forward, if you're like a shark, you got that shark mentality always going forward, then you'll find great success in DECA. And no matter how late you've joined DECA, whether it's your senior or junior year, I challenge you, everyone that's watching here, I challenge you to make the most of it and take advantage of every single opportunity DECA provides you with, because down the line you'll be thankful and it will just be great for your entire life. And so on that, I think.
Wait, hold up. One more thing, Max. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
One more. Sorry. I had to get this out. I was thinking in my head, and I was like, yeah, I gotta say this. Okay, so going up with Max with the whole success thing. One thing I wish I had, and I think all of you should have if you want to succeed to the utmost level possible, is just to be fearless. I was at the DECA Power Trip this year, and we had one of our keynote speakers. She was actually featured on The Voice, and she was a great speaker that day, and she was talking about how being fearless helped her to overcome so many things in her life. And I think that's great. So anything new in DECA or life, just go after it, because even tonight, this is our first hangout. We didn't know how it was going to go, but I feel very good with how it went. I'm happy that I had Max and Lindsay on the chat with me. And whether we succeeded or failed, we would get past it, you know? And I think failure is a great thing. I think failure is a fantastic thing, because I've learned that you can turn what you've learned from that failure into a greater success. And I've even done that myself. So I'll share a quick story with you guys. Actually, me and Lindsay, we had both ran for District 7 rep last year at our district conference. I'm not gonna lie, Lindsay, she came with it. She was ready with an amazing speech, and you know, she was well prepared. And I'm not gonna lie, I lost that day, but you know, I was feeling sad, of course, afterwards when I lost. But I was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna give up on this. But after talking to my advisor and sleeping on it and gaining my passion back for the organization I love, and really remembering who I was when I first announced that I wanted to be a state officer, that helped me to formulate my entire campaign at states. I went back strong, and now I'm on the executive council. So guys, just go after it. Do whatever you want, wherever you think you want. If you want to be an NBA All-Star, be an NBA All-Star. I'm sorry. I had to throw something crazy out there.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, thanks for that, Trayvon. I think we want to keep that mentality throughout the entirety of our Evolve series competition prep thing. So I want to pursue this, and I want to make sure that everyone who tuned in today understands how much we appreciate your attention and how grateful we are for you coming out. And I guarantee you the fact that you spent this time to prepare will pay off in your competition. I see you guys going far, and I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. And so I challenge you until we have our next Evolve session. I challenge you guys to remain fearless and to keep on learning. So with that, I'm going to end it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.